Have you ever paused halfway up the stairs and wondered, when did this get so hard? Not because you were carrying anything heavy, not because you were rushing, but simply because your legs didn't move the way they used to. Maybe you've noticed it in other ways too. You wake up feeling like your body forgot how to stretch overnight. You go to the store and need to rest after just one aisle. Or you catch yourself holding onto the edge of a table, not for comfort, but for balance. If these moments have become more frequent lately, I want you to know something. You're not broken, you're not failing, and you're certainly not alone. Aging has a way of sneaking up on us, not all at once, but quietly. A little less energy here, a little more stiffness there, until one day you start to believe that this slow, aching version of yourself is just the way it has to be now. But what if it isn't? What if this isn't the end of your strength, but the beginning of something new? Something smarter, gentler, deeper? What if the body you have right now still holds power, still holds grace, still holds joy, just waiting to be reawakened? Before we begin, I invite you to take a breath, not just to calm your bod, but to remind yourself that this moment is yours, that you're allowed to slow down, not because you're weak, but because you're learning to move with intention, that you're allowed to feel tired and still hope for strength, that you're allowed to want more energy, more freedom, more life. And if that's you, if you're ready to rediscover what your body can still do and feel inspired, instead of discouraged by the years you're in the right place, go ahead and subscribe now, because what I'm about to share may gently change how you see yourself, how you move through your days, and how you care for this one beautiful body you've carried all these years. Let's begin. Number 1, movement isn't optional, it's your lifeline. For years, she thought slowing down was just part of aging. She didn't question it when her knees ached after standing too long, or when she needed to hold the railing just to climb 3 steps. She simply adapted, sat down more often, took the elevator instead of the stairs, and little by little her world got smaller. One morning she stood in her kitchen staring at a jar on the top shelf. She reached and paused, not because the jar was too high, but because in that moment she wasn't sure she could trust her legs. It wasn't fear, it was something quieter, a creeping sense of fragility, and it broke her heart a little. That's when she knew something had to change. Because this wasn't just about muscles or movement, it was about her independence, her dignity, her ability to live life on her terms. You see, we've been told a lie, one that whispers to us as we age, that pain, stiffness, weakness are inevitable, that slowing down means stepping aside. But the truth is far more hopeful. Most of the physical decline we experience in later life isn't caused by aging itself. It's caused by inactivity, by the days spent sitting, by habits of stillness that gently chip away at our strength. And here's the beautiful part. If inactivity is the cause, then activity is the cure. But not just any activity. You don't need a gym membership. You don't need to lift weights or sweat buckets. You just need to move mindfully, gently, consistently. That's what she did. She began with 5 minutes, just walking around her house while her tea brewed. The next day she walked again, this time to the mailbox. She didn't call it exercise. She called it coming back to herself. In a few weeks, something remarkable happened. Her legs felt stronger, her balance is steadier, her breath deepened. She no longer reached for furniture when moving around the house. She stood taller, not just in posture, but in spirit. And that's the magic of movement. It doesn't just build strength, it rebuilds trust in your body, in your steps, in your ability to meet the world without hesitation. Think of your body like a garden. If you ignore it, it grows wild. If you fear it, it stays small. But if you tend to it with care, even just a little each day, it blooms again. So if getting up feels harder than it used to, if you avoid the stairs, if you've begun to say, I can't, I invite you to change the story. Start small, stretch before you get out of bed. March in place while brushing your teeth. Walk down the hallway once in the morning, once in the evening, and do it again tomorrow. Because every step you take is a message to your body. I still need you. I still believe in you. Let's keep going, and your body, miraculous as it is, will respond. I'm here, let's move. Number 2. Fatigue is not just a part of aging. It's a quiet signal. She used to say, I'm just tired today. But then she said it again tomorrow. And the next day, until tiredness became a companion so familiar, she stopped questioning it. She would wake up already feeling behind, her eyes open, but her energy didn't rise with her simple chores making the bed folding. Laundry felt like climbing hills, and by late afternoon she was spent, not from doing too much, but from doing almost nothing at all. She wondered, is this what aging is supposed to feel like? But something deep inside her whispered no. Not this constant heaviness in her limbs, not this fog behind her eyes, not this quiet surrender of her spark. The truth is, fatigue isn't a life sentence written by age. It's often a symptom, a soft alarm your body is saying, something's out of balance. I need your help. And when she started listening, she realized that her energy wasn't gone. It was simply blocked. Blocked by poor sleep, blocked by shallow breaths, blocked by habits that drained her rather than restored her. So she began asking new questions. How much water am I drinking? Is my sleep truly restful or just long? When was the last time I moved? Not because I had to, but because I chose to. She started small again. She replaced her second cup of coffee with a tall glass of water. She turned off screens an hour before bed, lighting a candle instead. She stepped outside in the morning, letting the sun touch her face before doing anything else. And almost like magic, though it wasn't magic, something shifted. Her mornings began to feel lighter. Her afternoons weren't marked by dread, but by quiet steadiness. She didn't crash at 3 p.m. like she used to. She wasn't young again, but she was awake again. Here's what many people don't realize. As we age, our body signals become quieter, but they don't disappear. That afternoon slump, it might not be age. It might be dehydration. That grogginess after 8 hours of sleep. It might not be just how things are. It might be poor sleep hygiene. That sluggishness that follows you from room to room. It could be the result of too little movement, not too many birthdays. Your body isn't trying to slow you down, it's trying to get your attention. And once you start responding with care, not criticism, it starts to rise again to meet you. So if you're feeling tired, don't ignore it. And don't just accept it. Get curious. Drink a little more water today. Stretch before you turn on the news. Take a short walk after lunch, even just around the living room. It might seem small, but small is where life changes. Fatigue isn't the end of your story. It's the body's way of saying, come back to me, I'm still here. Let's start again. Number 3. Your mindset matters more than you think. She sat by the window one morning, cradling a warm cup of tea. The sun peeked through the curtains, lighting up the dust in the air. Tiny particles swirling like thoughts. And she caught herself whispering a sentence she'd said 1,000 times before. I'm too old for that now. Too old to start something new. Too old to change routines. Too old to hope her body could feel better than it did yesterday. But this time the words landed differently. They didn't comfort her like they used to. They sounded limiting. Like a door closing that hadn't needed to be closed. Because somewhere deep inside her, there was still a quiet fire. A part of her remembered what it felt like to feel alive in her skin, and that part whispered back, what if you're not too old? What if you're just getting started? You see, mindset isn't just about optimism, it's about power. The power to choose what you believe about yourself and what becomes possible because of it. For years, she had lived by a story. Her body was too fragile, that change was for the young, that decline was inevitable. But here's the truth no one tells you loudly enough. The body listens to the story the mind tells. And when she began to tell a different story, her body responded. She no longer moved cautiously out of fear. She moved gently with purpose. She no longer saw aches as the enemy. She saw them as signals, ways her body asked for attention, not punishment. She stopped saying, "I can't," and started asking, "How can I make this easier for myself?" She stopped judging herself for needing rest and started honoring the wisdom in knowing when to pause. Because strength after 60 doesn't look like it did at 30. It looks like resilience, like showing up for yourself even when no one else is watching. Like believing day after day that your best chapters are not behind you. And yes, science backs this up. Studies have shown that seniors with a positive outlook on aging live longer, heal faster, and move more freely. Why? Because belief changes biology. Because when you believe in your ability to improve, you engage in behaviors that help you do just that. So if you've ever caught yourself saying, "It's too late," I want you to pause and ask, who told you that? And what if they were wrong? Because you're not too old to stretch. You're not too old to walk. You're not too old to strengthen your legs, your breath, your boundaries, or your hope. You are not too old to begin again. So let this be your new story. I am learning how to care for myself every day in ways I never did before. I am not at the end of something. I'm in a new season and I choose to live it fully. I am not afraid of aging. I am curious about how strong, how steady, how radiant I can still become. And if that's a story you want to live by, then take a moment now to subscribe, because this space is built for people like you. People who aren't finished growing. People who still have pages to turn. People who believe that wisdom and energy can walk side by side. She changed her story, and her story changed everything. Number 4, sleep isn't just rest, it's repair. She used to think that if she closed her eyes for 8 hours, she was doing enough. But she often woke up groggy. Her limbs felt heavy, her mind slow. Some mornings she sat on the edge of the bed and waited for the energy to arrive. But it didn't. She started wondering, is this what aging feels like? Always tired, always sluggish, even after sleep. But then she read something that shifted everything. Sleep doesn't just rest the body, it rebuilds it, and suddenly it made sense. Her body wasn't tired from aging. It was tired from never fully recovering. Because sleep, when done right, is the body's most powerful healer. At night, while we drift into dreams, our muscles repair, our immune system recalibrates, our memory sharpens, even our emotions settle, but only if we give sleep what it needs: consistency, quiet, and care. So she began again this time, not with vitamins, not with exercises, but with rituals. She created a bedtime like a mother would for a child, not with rules, but with kindness. No more late-night scrolling. She swapped blue screens for a book. She dimmed the lights an hour before bed, signaling to her brain that the day was ending. She drank a warm cup of chamomile tea, not because it was trendy, but because it calmed her. She even placed a soft lavender sachet by her pillow, because scent, she learned, has memory, and she wanted hers to remember peace. And then, something beautiful began to unfold. Her body started waking before the alarm. Her thoughts didn't race in the night. She stopped dragging herself through mornings. She started rising into them. Sleep stopped being a chore. It became a conversation between her body and the moon, a time to say, "Thank you for carrying me today. Here's my gift back to you: rest." You see, we often underestimate what poor sleep steals from us: clarity, balance, strength, but most of all, hope. Because when you're exhausted, everything feels heavier. Decisions, movement, even joy. So if you've been struggling to feel energized, don't start with supplements. Start with sleep. Start with giving your body what it's been asking for in whispers, rhythm, quiet, a chance to truly exhale. Make your bed a sanctuary, not a place where you collapse in defeat. Make sleep your ally, not your afterthought. You deserve to feel whole again. And that wholeness begins not in the morning, but in how you end your day. Number 5, sitting isn't rest, it's quiet erosion. It started with a chair by the window. She told herself she was just going to sit for a moment, but that moment became an hour, then another. She wasn't lazy. She was reading, sipping tea, watching birds, folding laundry, and making phone calls. All good things, all done sitting down. She didn't notice the shift at first until the day she stood up too quickly and her legs didn't feel like her own. They wobbled, they resisted it. And for the first time, she felt afraid of her own body. That's when she began to ask herself a hard question. How much of my life have I been spending in a chair? The answer surprised her. Not just the obvious hours, meals, reading, relaxing, but the hidden ones. Watch TV in the evening, scrolling on the couch, sitting to chat, sitting to rest, sitting to recover from sitting. It added up to more than 8 hours a day, sometimes more than 10. And suddenly she understood something no doctor had ever told her. The longer you sit, the harder it becomes to stand, because sitting isn't just stillness, it's stagnation. When you sit too long, blood flow slows, muscles shorten, joints stiffen, posture weakens, and over time, what was once a moment of rest becomes a trap, a soft, silent surrender of strength. So she made a decision not to eliminate sitting, but to interrupt it. She set a gentle alarm every hour just to chime, soft and kind. When it rang, she stood up, sometimes to stretch. Sometimes it's time to walk to the sink. Sometimes simply toy swing side to side, like a tree reminding itself it was still alive. She danced in the kitchen while waiting for the kettle, marched in place while brushing her teeth, did ankle rolls while reading. It wasn't exercise. It was a love letter to her body written in motion, and it worked. Her joints loosened. Her legs felt lighter. Her energy was no longer drained by midday. She didn't fear chairs anymore because she knew how to rise from them with strength. You don't need to join a gym. You don't need an app. You just need to remember that your body was built to move, and it still wants to. If you spend hours in a chair each day, that doesn't make you weak, but it does make movement urgent. Not later, not tomorrow. Now, so here's something you can do today. Stand up right now. Roll your shoulders, breathe deep. Step away from where you are just for a minute. Let your body know, I haven't forgotten you. I'm still here, and we're still moving. It's about standing back up in every way that matters. Number 6, sunlight isn't just light, it's medicine. One day her doctor asked, "How often do you go outside?" She laughed, "Not much." That one question changed everything. 10 minutes of sunlight a day gave her more than vitamin D. It gave her mood, better sleep, looser joints, and a brighter spirit. She started sipping her tea on the porch, sitting by a sunny window, stepping outside after lunch. No effort, just light, and it made all the difference. Number 7, strong legs keep you standing. Weak legs keep you seated. She'd been doing everything right, but her knees ached when she bent down. She knew what it meant, so she made it her mission to protect her legs. Chair squats, seated leg lifts, simple heel raises at the kitchen counter. Just a few minutes a day. She stopped needing to grab the railing. She walked farther, climbed easier, stood taller. That's the gift of strong legs, not just motion, but dignity. Number 8, stillness creates space for healing. Even with all this progress, something felt tight. Not her muscles. Her mind. She started practicing slow movement yoga. Tai Chi, 5 minutes at first, then 10. She learned to breathe again, to stretch with intention, to feel calm without a reason. It wasn't about flexibility. It was about finding peace inside her body and her mind. Number 9, balance isn't just physical, it's emotional. She used to be afraid of falling, afraid of losing her independence, afraid of becoming a burden. But with each slow, steady movement, her fear shrank. She felt more grounded, more aware of her body, more capable. Balance isn't something you're born with, it's something you build. Number 10, peace is strength. Slowness is power. At the end of her journey, she didn't just feel strong, she felt whole. She no longer rushed, no longer fought against time. She breathed deeply, moved gently, and lived fully. This is not just her story, it can be yours. She didn't wake up one day and feel transformed. There was no grand breakthrough, no perfect moment, just small choices repeated with love. And one day, she realized she didn't fear her reflection anymore. She didn't brace herself before standing up. She didn't say, "I used to be strong," because now she was. Not in the way youth defines strength, but in the way wisdom does, in the way grace does, in the way only someone who's come through the fog and found her rhythm again can understand. And you, wherever you are in your journey, you can begin again too. Not to become someone else, but to become someone more yourself than you felt in a long time. Your strength has not expired. Your energy is not behind you, and your body, your beautiful, resilient body, still listens, still responds, still hopes you'll remember it with kindness. So take the first small step. Not tomorrow, not Monday, today. Stretch your arms over your head, open a window, walk for 5 minutes, take off your shoes and feel the ground beneath you. Sip water slowly and call it nourishment, not habit. Breathe in and say, "I'm still here." Breathe out and say, "And I'm not done yet." If this journey has spoken to something quiet inside you, if it's reminded you that you deserve to feel strong, not just stable, capable, not just careful, alive, not just aging, then let this be our last moment together today, but not our final one. Go ahead and subscribe now, because I'll be here with more ways to help you keep walking forward, gently, steadily, with dignity. And if this video touched something in you, tell me in the comments, what's one thing, just one, you're going to do differently starting today? Because your story isn't over, and I can't wait to hear where it goes next.